Thank you very much. Let's quickly go through session 2. It's not a long one. Not the session 2 of the evening, but it's actually chapter 6 in the book. We've all said now it's all about success is equal to you. But now we need to understand this you. Number one, the identity of this person. Number two, the passion of this person. And number three, there's a plan for this person that we will get to. Okay, so the next thing we talk about this person is actually the passion. The word passion is a very interesting word. You know, it's a word that sounds very beautiful always. You know, we say to people, you know, you must live according to your passion, follow your passion and whatever. It's sometimes a word that is very misleading in a certain sense, although it's not the wrong word. But the word passion actually means suffering. That's why we have that video of Christ, the suffering of Christ. It is the passion of Christ. It is actually the suffering of Christ. It's all about the suffering. So what it actually means is that passion is nothing else than a certain amount of energy that you have in yourself. That energy comes from seeing yourself. But number one, having clarity about yourself and now going to live that life needs an enormous lot of energy. You know, for 20, 60, many years, I mean, you need that to constantly stand up in the morning, have energy to motivate yourself. And one of the devil's most effective ways to hinder you from living who you are, if he can't keep you away from discovering who you are, is that he wants to make you passive. He wants to steal your energy so that you don't have energy to live it. So now you know what you are, but you know you don't have energy to break through the resistance of the school of life. And you don't break through because there's lots of uncertainties in this school of life. Not everything is clear. Not everyone believes in what you're doing, what you're believing. You need to break through all these resistance, get bigger skills, because the problems on the way of life is not problems, it's actually hidden promotions. It's from God's side, it's hidden promotions. And therefore, he sometimes keeps some stuff from you because he wants you to exercise your faith. In the sense of, you know, what I say to you. If I say to you, this is the road, go for it. It's not that he makes the road plain and easy for you always. He wants you to exercise faith and stand in what you know about what he's said to you, what his word is saying about you, so that you can get established in yourself. That's basically the reason. Well, of course, the enemy makes the road much more bumpy, you know, in terms of contradiction, telling you, yeah, but it's not like this, you know, it's not enough, you're not going to make it and whatever. But to handle all those contradictions is also, you need a lot of energy. I mean, people, I always say, I've got a saying, you know, life is drawing amps. I mean, as you sit here tonight, you've got only a certain amount of energy at the moment, because this day has drawn amps. I mean, for me, it was not a very demanding day, if you can say it like that. And I've got lots of energy still left. But some of you, maybe sometimes, you know, I'm running like morning to night, you know, and when it's coming to 7 o'clock, I feel like, you know, I'm just going to fall over, you know. And why? It's not because there's something wrong with me. It's because life has really drawn some amps. It was really, you know, it was maybe packed, or maybe it was a difficult day, maybe I had handled some difficult stuff, taking a lot of energy. It is normal, it is human. You need to become refreshed every day, not only by sleeping, but you need to wake up in yourself with a renewed passion and energy. That's where we always say, you know, that your spiritual gymnastics, you know, meditating upon the Lord, reading the Word, just thinking about the day, thinking about yourself, you know, your role, your responsibility, and just taking ownership in it, you know. It brings that passion back, you know, and you say, okay, let's go for it. Let's live this day before it's over. You need that energy, and the devil wants to steal that energy from you. And one of his best ways to steal that energy is to keep you in the past, is to let you constantly think about things in the past. I always compare it to you know, like a computer. I remember, you know, in the first days, you know, we had that 286 computer, you know. I don't know if you know, okay. Then you open up yourself Word, you know, you type some stuff, and then you open up yourself Outlook, you know, things going well, and then you open up Excel and things starts to freeze, you know. 3 programs is just too much for the CPU. The CPU does not have enough space and energy to handle 3 programs and everything you want to do on it. It's too much things in one moment, if you can say it like that. Yes, everything is minimized here. It lies in the bottom here. You don't see it on the screen. But in the computer, it's still running in the CPU, the main brain of the computer. The main brain of the computer only have X amount of capacity to deal with the amount of information and program information that you open it up to. Nowadays, it's not a program. You know, when I look at Enrico, when he's doing these presentations, you know, I see maybe 30, 40 stuff open there, you know, and still the computer is running fine. But you know, we are like that, you know. I always see people, when they sit in front of you, you can see they are literally drained. They are literally, what is it? Energyless. And it's not a question of, you know, there was a hard day. No, they are constantly like that. Because they live in a world where they are living in this inner fight with themselves and with the past, and with chapters that's open. All the programs that's open. Yes, it's minimized, but it is open. When you go to sleep tonight, you go to sleep with all those open programs. That thing about your brother and your sister and the bank manager and your debt, you know, and all these things that's wrong in your life, that's not sorted out. It's not closed chapters. It's a very important thing that you must live with closed chapters. Don't allow things to stay open. And sometimes it's difficult because other people may keep it open for you, you know. That you battle to get a closed chapter on the whole thing, that you can say, okay, it's sorted out now. Because if it's not sorted out, you go to sleep, but that thing is taking energy right through the night. Hey, you sleep, but it's drawing energy out of you. Then tomorrow morning you wake up and you feel so weary. You feel so human. I've slept 6-8 hours, but I feel I've got no energy for the day. Where's my energy? Well, it's been drained by all these minimized programs that's not being closed. And the only way to get it back is you need to open up those programs, face it, go through it, sort it out, forgive what needs to be forgiven. Do whatever is necessary you can do from your side, but make sure that you close that program. I remember, I've seen this, you know, when I met my first real wealth creator, you know, he employed all his family, you know, and then they stole everything from him. It was about 16 million, his family. I thought to myself, you know, this is a high court case, 4 years, lots of money, you know, at least 4 million rand, you know, and before I could sort of, you know, give him some sort of advice or, you know, whatever, just say something, he said to me, but I've put them all together, and I said to him, I give it to you. You see, because the biggest reason why I give it to them is that he was 23, that's right, and he had 16 million, and they stole everything from him. He said, because I cannot waste my energy on a 4-year court case to get the 16 million back. That's not gonna get coming back because it's already spent. Because I need that energy to make my next 16 million. Otherwise, I can't make it. I can't live back I can't live into the past. Because the past is the biggest draining thing that will tap your energy. And I've seen him, you know, just writing off all that millions, and he said to himself, okay, if I can do it once, I can do it twice. Why not? I just know how to do it. They don't know how to do it, and there's nothing left of it. So I've seen him doing his first transaction, you know, buying a property of 1.32 million and selling it after 3 years for 160 million. Making more than 100-fold. That's where I saw the 100-fold principle for the first time. Yeah, it was very impressive. But you know, the point of the thing is, number one, he had knowledge how to do it, but he also had the energy to do it. You see, you must have the energy. That doesn't say, you know, I'm just saying all of you must go and do it. But you have the energy for your life, your identity, and your plan. You have it. You were born with it. But you must make sure that you don't lose it along the way. And you must constantly discover your passion. You must feed your passion. You must develop your passion. You must maintain your passion, if you can say it like that. You must make sure that you just don't, let's say, flow away out of the door by, you know, you must You must focus your passion, because your passion is your responsibility. It is that energy you need to live the life that you need to live. I see so many people, sometimes, when they hear say what we're doing, they just say, no, I just don't think I can do it, No one needs to do what I'm doing, in the first place. But you see, sometimes people just, you see, they just don't have the energy to do something, whatever it may be. Remember, you're not supposed to copy other people, that's not the point. But the point is, you have enough energy for what you are destined to live. And if you don't experience it at the moment, you can rekindle and refire it. When I see people and they sit here and they sort of down and out, it's like in the Old Testament, they said they've thrown rocks into the pit, You must go and open up that pits again, because out of that pit will come the fresh water again. Everything you need for your life. Because the devil can only steal it. He can sort of hinder you, but he cannot, what is the word? He cannot stop you from being who you are. And that is the place, and that is the pit, and the place where you draw your passion, is your identity. You see, it throws rocks into your identity, but it cannot stop you from being who you are, because you haven't made even yourself anything. God has made you something, and you are that someone till you die. Even if you live it or not live it, you're born with it, you will die with it, and maybe you have lived it or you haven't lived it. So the devil can never stop you from being who you are, but he can stop you in the sense of he brings contradiction. He don't allow you to focus on it, and get passion out of it, He steals your passion, and he brings people and situations, and he stirs you, to sort of not deal with the thing, because it becomes traumatic sometimes to deal with stuff. So walk around it. Don't worry. Just ignore it. It sounds good, but it's not always the answer. Because it's people that you are in a relationship with, you need to deal with it. You need to face it. It's not going away just like that. So I find that the average person on earth, the biggest reason why they will not live in success, whatever the success definition may be, is because of too much minimized windows of the past. Things that happened in the past, it's minimized, it's drawing energy, and they just do not have the energy to initiate, let's say, a program or another career or study something or whatever. There's just not the energy. And you need to be very, very, serious about your own passion. If you don't wake up in the morning and you are no longer happy to live, and you are no longer looking for something, and there's problems in every day, hear me. It's not that you wake up and everything is just fine every day. But there need to be something like you are excited still about the day that's coming. There's something in the day that's making you excited. There's something you're going to do. There's something you're going to live. There's something you want to manifest that's making you excited. If you've lost that thing, you haven't lost yourself, but you've lost your life. You've lost your passion. And you cannot live your success without that passion. You must rekindle it and open up the pits by going back to the place of God's birth, of the origin where it comes from, and looking into the eyes and say, let me just make sure again and get clarity again for why am I on this earth. Because He is excited about this day. He is excited about what He's made you and who He's made you and what He's given you. So if you are not excited, then there's something wrong with you. Not wrong in essence in the sense that you are not the right person, but you have managed your life not always correctly. And along the way the devil the enemy has stolen your passion, if you can say it like that. Sometimes people say, but we must define our passion very, very clearly. All people are born with passion, but it is not always easy to define your passion from day one. The most important thing is not, number one, to define your passion, but to know you have passion, to start to live with your passion. Whatever you do, do it with passion. From washing the dishes to making up your bed and whatever. Start to live life with a passion. And you will start to get more clear and clear about what is the real definition of your passion. Because people, we become, I'm just doing what I'm called for, but I don't know what I'm called for, So just start to live life, man. I mean, just do the ordinary things, the general calling, stand up and wash and do some stuff and, and live life, go on a holiday and get involved in other people's lives, and, if you don't know what's the definition, you will start to see it as you get on the move, as you start to move to people. Because we've said that your success, the reason for your success that must manifest is not only for you to get some points or whatever, but that it becomes an atmosphere wherein other people find themselves and their own success. I mean, that's why we have something like a marriage. Because it is in the success of two people living together that a new generation can find themselves and can stand up in their potential. I mean, when I look at the average person, we work with lots of people, that haven't had a home with a father and a mother. They are still in that first 20 years of fighting about who am I. They don't know the answer. Now you are 20, 40, and 0 to 20 is supposed to be your identity years. 20 to 40 is supposed to be your community years, where you step out into the community and you establish everything that you want to establish. Where I'm going to live, where I'm going to stay, what I'm going to drive, when I'm going to do my career, marriage, children, vacation, whatever. Basically, your whole life is established in the community between 20 and 40. But you need to get established in the first 20 years. Then 40 to 60 is your dream years. And then 60 to 80 is your legacy years. Where you make other people successful in the dream that you have lived yourself. Okay, but the biggest problem is the first 20 years. And the biggest problem of that first 20 years is not having the atmosphere of peace where you can think about yourself in the first 20 years. I do not have the pressure of worrying about, tomorrow morning's food, if there's going to be milk in the fridge or whatever. I never worried about that in the first 20 years. I start worrying about that after that. You see, but that gives you the energy to think about life, to think about yourself. But if you haven't spent that 20 years in thinking and sorting out your own identity, you will find yourself in the next phase trying to live the first phase. But then you've got a double phase, and it's not possible to live that. And then life starts to overrun you and rev you into the red, and you can't get everything together. Yes, there's always a way to do it. It's not that it is all over or whatever, but it is always much more difficult. But it emphasizes the point that my life, my marriage, my whatever I do, the success I live is supposed to be an atmosphere wherein other people can discover themselves and their success. Because it's the biggest passion in your life that will keep you going is the fact that you've got something for someone else. And you maybe, in a certain sense, got something of someone else. You've got some keys to other people's lives that they're not going to experience if they don't get the keys. So we must get the keys to them. Sometimes they don't appreciate it, but that doesn't matter. You still have the responsibility to give the keys. And you must also identify, and that's very important, the people in your life that is your sort of parents, mentors, or whatever, that create the atmosphere for you to find yourself and your success. Because it's something that never ends. It's not that you get to an end of it. There's always a new field, and you find yourself unsure. Then you need to find people in which presence you can be that have conquered already that field, so that you can get acquaint yourself with that field and get into it and get the skill of that field also. It's very important. Whatever it might be, don't underestimate what your passion and your contribution can be for other people. And don't think about it, I must reach that point where I become the president, otherwise my life is not significant. No. Your life is significant because of what you're living every day into other people's lives, whatever you're doing. I don't think it's part of the enemy's strategy to let you think about yourself as not a significant person. Who knows about me? The point is not who knows about you. The point is that God knows you. I mean, no one else is going to give rewards one day. There's only one that's going to give rewards, and that's God. So why worry who knows about you? As long as God knows about you. You know, that's the only important really thing in the world. If you want to talk about get something back and being significant. But we always think, oh, it's not significant, you know, but I don't think we nearly understand how significant every one of us' lives are really for God, for the kingdom and in this world. But we got so used to that inner voice of self-destruction, you know, of I'm not worth to anyone else, you know, whatever. All this nonsense. I mean, why is depressed people always saying, I mean nothing to other people? Why are they not saying, they're always saying the same thing? Because we've got a desire in ourselves to be something for other people. And the fact that you're still breathing, say you are something. Otherwise you'll be dead. But you've lost it yourself. You've lost vision about who you are. And it is not that it is gone, it's still in you. But the devil has found a way of you thinking and going into a fight with yourself and put you on a life of self-destruction. And you're busy going into the grave because he wants to bury you. He wants to get you away. Because your life is too significant. Okay. So that is what basically passion is all about. I say here, you do not necessarily start out to follow your passion. Your passion will follow you. So you will discover some things in your life, you know, as you go on. As I think about my own life, I don't want to mention things, you know, but the moment you discover something and it becomes a passion in you, you cannot escape it. It starts to haunt you. It starts to follow you. And you come to a point where you just realize, I must live the thing. If it's going to work or not going to work, I must do it. Because the thing becomes like a voice that's constantly talking to you, but you know that's your responsibility. That's what you must do, you know. You don't get away from it. Because why? It is the blueprint that got ignited in your heart. And that blueprint in you starts to talk to you. And you cannot run away from it. I remember various times in my life, you know, where I had different options. But you know the blueprint that said there's only one option. You know, but you start to negotiate, you know, with God. You know, but maybe first, you know, then, and later on I will come back. But the blueprint saying, no, there's only one way. Yeah, but I don't know how we're going to make it. Doesn't matter. It's only one way. You stick to the blueprint. You stick to what is the pattern, the style, the desire, and the gifts and the talents that's in you. The moment you move out of your passion field, you go into performance, then you need to push your life. You need to keep the bus going yourself out of your own flesh energy. It's as if you move away from your field of blessing, if you can say it like that. Now every one of us differ according to this, because we do not have the same creative purpose, gifts, talents and whatever. Therefore you must get to know yourself. That this is my field. I must. This is the. Let's say I've got. What is spelen? I've got a. I've got a certain leverage. You know, it's not like everything is rigid. You know, but I know. You know, more or less, I can't go way out this way. I've got leverage. You know, but too much in this thing. You know, it's going out of the way in the field that is a natural flow in me. You must stick to the natural flow in you. You cannot always start there. But you must always go more and more to the natural flow and change your life and stick to that which is the natural flow in you. And the more you get there, the more it is as if the blessing that's already in you starts to manifest itself. Because the plans, the strategy, the money, the provision, everything is built into that blueprint of which your passion is the energy to live it. But you must believe it. You know, but we've got lots of arguments. Yes, Lord, but how's that going to work? What about this? What about this? And Lord doesn't give you an answer. He said, you know enough. You know 100 meters. You've got 100 meters of light. Move. Yeah, but what about the next 100 meters? He says, I will not give you the answer before you're there. Because why do you want the answer? And I remember in my own life, especially in the terms of money, you know, how the money thing is always there. Because the world is like, you know, how are you going to make it? How, you know, it's constantly there. But then you stick to what you know about your passion field, you move, and then it works out. But then the money thing is again there, you know, and then you stick to what you know in your heart, and then it works out. But again, every time of your year and every month of your year, the devil brings the old stuff back. Because it's like his old card he's playing upon you. You know, you're not going to have provision, and the people aren't going to like it, and no one is going to agree with you. You know, all these human things that you're not going to be humanly acceptable and whatever, and you know, and all this nonsense. And it is always the same old cards. But don't listen to those voices. Listen to the voice of your heart. What is set out for you? Because the way that is set out for you, it's got its own plan, its own strategy, its own provision. But it is not a road that's always clear. You need to walk that road with faith. Because it's only by faith that you can take the next step and do the next step. Okay. How do I find my passion? You know, get to know your true identity, define the fields that, what is your interest, even hobbies and whatever. You know, start to investigate it. What do you love doing in life? What do you do well? Where do you normally spend your money? What's the things you constantly think about? What's the problems in the world that you constantly bother you? You know, if you open up your mouth, you talk about green stuff or political stuff or whatever. What's the things that you're constantly talking about? I mean, that is an indication of your passion field. What is the problems? Define what you consider valuable to yourself. What is valuable to yourself, and get involved in those things that you deem valuable for yourself. Okay. I think I've already said all these things. The content of passion is about three things. It's the what, the how, and the why. What must I do? How must I do it? And why must I do it? You see, there's always in my life, what must I do? I believe I want to teach people. How do I do it? Through courses, videos, and whatever. Why do I do it? Because I believe that it is your inheritance to live a free life. That's the thing that's driving me. When I'm looking at people, it just bothers me, that people do not live free. That they live in this small little life that's constantly drowning, and and they're constantly digging graves, and they're not living. It's not life in abundance. And it bothers me, and it's not that I bother myself with it. It is just like something that's constantly there. I can't get myself away from it. I mean, in everything I just see, but people can live a free life. You can be free in your marriage. Oh, that's dangerous, eh? Although you bind yourself, you can be free in having children. Oh, you cannot have 6 children, That is too much. You will have no life and whatever nonsense. You can have a free life in what everything is set out for you. You can live financially free. You can live the ministry that's in you. You can have the money that you need to have for it. You can live whatever. You can go on holiday as what you really want to go on holiday. You can everything that is a desire in your heart, because you delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. But the problem is you haven't even defined the desires in your heart. It's your first responsibility to define that desires. What is the desires in me? What am I going to do about this desires? Lord, bless us, do the thing. But the Lord says, but you're not moving. I cannot move with you if you don't move. Number 1, define it. Number 2, put a plan on the table. Tell me what you want to do. Then we can do something about it. And number 3, why do you want to do it? Make it clear for yourself, because we always say that you must have a strong why in your life. The why is your motivation. It's what is your persuasion? Why do you really want to do this thing? Because you're going to do it constantly for the rest of your life. It's going to get sort of, looks like bored from the outside, because repeating the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. What is going to keep you going that is bigger than what is it, what we say, the repetitiveness, the repetitiveness of the whole thing. Because in everything in life there's lots of repetitiveness, you know. But what is the motivation behind it that will keep you motivated, that will keep you excited about that thing? There is something, and you must define it for yourself. And the moment you've defined it for yourself, it will start to release some energy in your life that will keep you going, and you will be excited even in the days when you repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, and maybe teach the whole thing 10 times on the same day. You're still excited about it. Why? Because it's not the thing that makes you excited. It is the purpose behind it in my life that's making me excited. I mean, for me, seeing people come to the understanding of the world is all about, and seeing how the flower of the kingdom starts to just blossom in their lives, and how they start to look at life and they become positive and they become enthusiastic. I mean, that's for me the why. That keeps me going, because I know it's in there. I must just keep on going, and the moment you discover it, it's payday, if you can say it like that. It's not that you get money necessarily, it's the question that that's what I'm living for. No amount of money can actually replace it. No amount of money can make you so excited by seeing this thing that you will know is for eternity. It will stay here for eternity. To see people finding their own freedom, their own birthright of provision and freedom and creative purpose and life and abundance that was given to them. Okay, and you must go and sort it out for yourself. What must you do, how you must do it, and why are you doing it? And sometimes you need to rethink it. I mean, especially I find myself, you know, when it happens that you stand up in the morning, you know, and you don't feel so good, because feeling is not always on top of the mountain. You need to go and sit and say to yourself, listen, you talk to yourself, you know, not in the self-destruction mode, where you take yourself back to the presence of God. Listen, just make sure, why are you here? What was set out for you? What is unique about your life that you must put on the table? Why is it that this unique thing will make a difference for whatever? And why is this a significant thing? And the moment you rethink the thing and you remind yourself of what was given to you, it ignites you again, that you become passionate about it. Because not every day is always a nice day. And some days, you know, the previous day you had lots of troubles and hassles and whatever. But it gives you that, it brings that passion back. And there's nothing that brings your passion back as to rethink yourself in the light of your Redeemer, in the light of your Father, in the light of your Creator. And to just sit and say, okay, but what is God seeing in my life? What is it that He purposed for me to do this day that's going to make Him happy? And the moment you see how happy He's going to be about that thing, it makes you happy. You say, my goodness, man, let's stand up and do it. Because it's not only about, you know, getting rewarded for it one day. I was set out for this. This is my life. And it is not that my life is better than yours. And no, we've got all this. We've got all our own purpose, our own motivation, our own whatever. No one is bigger than the other one. But we are all unique, and we've got our own passion. But you must look after that passion, that it doesn't get stolen along the way. That you don't find a day when you regret it, that you have children, and regret your marriage, and regret this and regret. No, then someone has stolen your passion for that thing along the way. Okay, so at the end of the day, we want to make a mark in life. The word significance means to make a mark. And we must really remember that we are here to make a mark. But sometimes the mark is not like, you know, this big thing. We make marks every day, lots of them. In terms of how you talk to people, how you smile, how you interact with people, the way you communicate with people. Now let's say the passion and the positiveness and whatever you talk to people. Because people on average are drained. They live in the red, you know, their energy is very low. But when you can get to people, you can start to talk with them, and you can start to validate them. You can start to validate them, you know, and speak into their lives, you know, and bring them back to this place of their significance. You know, It's incredible how many petrol, what do you call it? Yogis, what's it? Attendants got biblical names. I mean, about 90% of them. I don't know why. You know, but it always amazes me, you know, when they've got this biblical name, they say, my goodness, you know, you've fallen out of the Bible. I mean, how can I be so privileged that someone out of the Bible is putting in petrol for me today? You know, then they stand like this. No, I mean, no one has said to him something like that, you know. I say, but do you know you've got a reason why you're here. You don't have that name just for nothing, eh? I mean, do you know what that guy have done? You know, he's got your name, you know. And you start to talk to him, but you don't believe that you've got maybe the same purpose in your life. You know, it brings like hope and like a smile on their face, you know, because you put some value upon their lives. Because they've got value upon their lives. It's not that I made their lives valuable. They were born valuable in the first place. It is that you just bring them back to that place where they rediscover something of their own value. And so my friend, I mean, the value of your life doesn't lie in the first place in putting petrol into cars. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you do it good. That's not. But you need to realize there's something bigger in your life. That doesn't say you must leave your work here. But you know, most people just think about themselves according to their job description. Number one, and number two, according to their salary, what do you call it?
Structure.
Salary, payslip, that's right. According to their payslip, that's the two biggest career or two biggest identification things. You know, your payslip and your job description. That's not true, that's part of it. But you're much bigger than that. And you must get yourself out of a thinking that's just boxed in by that. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing in terms of, don't get paid for what you do, but how you do it. You know, do you do it as for me? Or do you just do it because this is my job and I just need to do it? Well, then you get a salary, but no reward. Okay, because your passion will make you that you will do ordinary things in an extraordinary way. And even, I think, a thing like raising children, you know, all the things, you know, the food and this and packing what, you know, school and whatever, you know. But there's always something that's fresh, can be fresh inside of it, although it's repeating so many times. Because the freshness is your spirit itself. But don't lose contact with the freshness of your own spirit. Wherein is your identity, is your blueprint, is your passion, and everything is in there. Draw out of your own well, not someone else's well. Yeah, you can appreciate it from what someone else's dish up to you out of his or her well. But you must live out of your own well. It's enough there. It is everything there. And the moment you keep in contact with the own well of your spirit, you will find the success of your life. Because everything there is guaranteed. It's guaranteed, whatever is in there. But if you may be going to copy me, I will tell you it's not guaranteed. You will maybe do something good, but you will not maybe experience the same satisfaction because it's not your profile, it's not your flow, it's not your world maybe. But you can take something from you, you can repackage it, you can reorganize it. You need to repackage it in your own life so that you can live it according to your purpose and your gifts and your destiny. Thank you very much.